I'm going to pass the microphone along to Konstantinos Kalitsidis, who is going to introduce our keynote honoree and the foreword from Aristos Constantine from the Cypriot Trade Center.
Thank you, Chris. This is truly amazing. I mean, I'm a student myself. I study in Larissa, Greece, and all the things that I hear in this event, like I've been taking notes, they're super useful. So I would like to start by introducing the honorary Aristos Constantine, who is gonna give us the foreword to the keynote address. And then afterwards, we would have, of course, the keynote honoree, Despina Panagiotou Theodosiou. So the honorary Aristos Constantine is the Trade Commissioner of the Republic of Cyprus for North America. Mr. Constantine, you have the floor.
Good morning to everyone. Let me begin by first recognizing the amazing work that Chris is doing with Philo4Thought, but in particular how seamlessly and successfully she shifted this event to Zoom. Bravo. And of course, in turn, my own congratulations to this year's honoree, Despina Panagiotou Theodosiou. Given the importance of shipping to Cyprus, I'm also very eager to hear what she has to say. So, as I'm sure is the case for all of us, when I was first approached to give this address several weeks ago, I envisioned giving a very different talk. But the impact of the COVID-19 crisis, in my opinion, is not something that we can just gloss over. This is not just a temporary disruption, as many of the speakers in the previous panel have echoed. And it's not something we're just simply gonna get through to return to normalcy. This is a turning point, one that may reorder society in dramatic ways, for better or for worse. And in many ways, it already has. And I think it will continue to change the world, the way we live, the way we work, and even the way we play in a fundamental way. Now, I'm not saying that everything that was true 3 months ago is all of a sudden no longer true. In many ways, the crisis has simply cast a spotlight on existing problems, deficiencies, inefficiencies that were not being addressed, and on the other hand, it's fast-tracked positive trends and changes that have been long in the making. One good example from Cyprus, and I think my friend Konstantinos Goutras, the Consul General from Greece, mentioned it as well, is the adoption of e-government and our move towards full digitalization. So forced by the social distancing measures, the speed with which these programs are being implemented is unprecedented. Procedures that would have taken years to prepare and implement are now being completed and going live in a matter of weeks. This pandemic, I think, has revealed a simple truth. Many of the policies and changes that we've long said were impractical or even impossible are all of a sudden possible. In short, the crisis has forced us to do what we should have done anyway years ago. I'll take a moment just because I think it's worth mentioning. Both Cyprus and Greece have been recognized as examples for successfully handling this pandemic. We acted very early and with resolve, and it has resulted, fortunately, in very low infection and death rates compared to most of the world. But be that as it may, the economic impact is going to bring an array of new challenges, particularly in the short to medium term, but some are going to stick around for longer. And even as we gradually reopen, there's going to be residual fear and pervasive uncertainty, and much as is the case in almost every country, we're faced with a very difficult road ahead. We're looking at high levels of unemployment, reduced spending and consumption, an inevitable downturn in construction and real estate. Restaurants, bars, coffee shops have all been hit in an unbelievably hard way. But travel and tourism will undoubtedly continue to suffer the worst. And that's something that is of significant concern both to Greece and to Cyprus. It's a significant part of our GDP, and unemployment in those sectors is going to be disproportionately high. Now, efforts are being made to try and minimize the damage. But the harsh reality is that anything dependent on travel or high contact touch services is going to take a major hit, at least for the next 12 to 18 months and likely much longer. And I think our approach to tourism may have to change and be adapted to a new reality. But once again, we've long been aware, in Cyprus at least, of our overdependence on mass tourism from too few markets. So going back to what I said earlier, this is, again, the crisis has simply shone a light on existing things. I guess the core of what I'm trying to convey is that although by necessity a lot of the thinking has been reactive, I firmly believe that this is the time for us to be proactive. The crisis presents an opportunity for us to take decisive and in many cases overdue actions to diversify and strengthen our economy. And to start generating employment and growth in new sectors. And to this end, I think it was mentioned by Mr. Bervolagis, that public-private partnerships are going to be very important. And we're already seeing that in Cyprus, where the start of innovation in our agricultural sector. Just in the last month, we've seen 3 new online platforms enabling consumers to buy products directly from local producers and farmers. If you live in New York, that seems like, not a big deal. You've had Fresh Direct for a long time. But it is a big deal. And this was a direct result of public-private collaboration between the government and private e-commerce platforms, and with coordinated support services, reaching out to farmers and producers, guiding them on how to integrate and promote their products through these new sale channels. So it appears Plato was right. Necessity is indeed the mother of invention. And I believe that Cyprus' agricultural and industrial sectors have enormous potential, both as engines for growth and generators of employment. And, right now, as odd as it may sound, we import 3 times more agricultural products than we export. But with investment in modernization and introduction of technologies and collaboration with our neighbors in Israel and in Greece, we have the capacity to improve production and competitiveness, and with the potential to absorb some of the fallout from other sectors like tourism. Now, obviously, agriculture is not the only sector that could do with additional focus. There are equally promising opportunities for growth and generating employment in healthcare, in manufacturing, and particularly in the tech and clean tech sectors. Cyprus already has, as many of you may know, the seeds of a growing tech sector. And within the context of the current climate, I think this sector could be a big driver of our future economic growth. And all of these marry into each other, right? You've got a more robust and productive agricultural sector. It feeds your tourism offering. And if you've got a more innovative and entrepreneurial tech sector, it's going to feed your services sector. So the diversification is not about taking away from what is existing, but about strengthening it, making it more robust. And we have the advantage that we're small and adaptable, and we have a highly educated and versatile population. So, while change can be hard and force change even harder, I think, to paraphrase Darwin, it's the most adaptable of us that is going to thrive. We need to make the hard choices and double down. Look, in closing, I'm simply going to say, and I think this is true, or should be true, for most of us, human capital is what it's all about. Human capital is the foundation upon which Cyprus has built its successes of the past and what has enabled us to overcome the challenges of our past. And undoubtedly, it's going to be the foundation upon which we build our continued economic growth and ultimately to emerge from this stronger than before. And I think that should be the goal. This is not about survival, right? This should be about doing better. That's the gist of my thoughts on this.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Constantine. That was very informative.